If you're all about the C's, you have come to the right place. Here at Celtics Today, we're going to be breaking down any Celtics news, any Celtics rumors in what is sure to be a really big offseason. Help us get to 9,000 subscribers. Go down and hit that big red sub button. Celtics Today is presented by Aura, a all-in-one digital safety tool. You can start your 14-day free trial by going to aura.com/chatsports. Welcome into Celtics Today. I am your new host, Will Scott. Really excited to be covering the Boston Celtics here at Chat Sports, and it's going to be a really big offseason for the season. The NBA is unique in the fact that right after the season ends is when all the offseason madness begins. The draft next week, free agency after that. So they're going to have to quickly put that loss last night in the rearview mirror, falling to Golden State 103-90 in Game 6 of the NBA Finals, losing the series 4-2. But look, nobody expected the Celtics to be there, right? They started the season 18-21. They were 25-25 after the first 50 games. They end up in the NBA Finals in what was part of a remarkable run by this Boston team, earning the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs, beating the Heat in 7 games, making the finals. So this is a Boston team with a lot of young talent. The fact that they made it that far is really remarkable. I know last night in the series it's tough to swallow right now, but a lot to be proud of for this Boston team. So now what Brad Stevens and this front office is going to have to look at is an offseason plan, right? So I have put together a 5-step plan for the Celtics to go out and have a great offseason and hopefully be right back in the NBA Finals next season. We begin the show by talking about the Celtics free agents. So here are the 3 free agents. Luke Kornet is a unrestricted free agent. Broderick Thomas and Matt Ryan are both restricted free agents. The team also has some options here. The Boston Celtics will have to choose whether or not to pick up the team options on Sam Hauser and Juwan Morgan. Hauser, coming off of his rookie season, also spent some time with the main Celtics. Morgan just appeared in 1 game with Boston this year. Now, name a player that you want to bring back. Who do you want to see back on this team next season who might not be? Let me know down in the comments section. I'm typing Al Horford, man. You have to bring Al back. Now, he's not a free agent. He has 1 year remaining on his contract. He's supposed to make over $26 million, so I don't know, maybe the C's will be iffy about paying him that much money at his age. Here's what he did this past season back in Boston. Of course, he was gone for a couple years, stints in Philly and OKC, averaged over 10 points per game, 7 rebounds per game. He was phenomenal last night, played his heart out, 19 points, 14 rebounds in Game 6. Here's what Sporting News said about Horford in terms of him maybe coming back to the C's. Horford has 1 year remaining on his contract that he signed with the Sixers back in 2019. His $26.5 million salary is not guaranteed for the 2022-2023 season, but after a stellar postseason, don't be surprised if the Celtics present the veteran with a strong offer. So here's my message to Brad Stevens in part 1 of my 5-step offseason plan. Work something out with Horford. He is the heart and the soul of this team down low. You don't make the finals without Horford. I don't know if I was going to say that before the season, but I'm saying it right now, and he was great in the finals, especially last night, and he's continuing to put up these type of numbers even as he gets older. I understand the age is a concern, but he played in pretty much every game this season for the Celtics. I think you should absolutely bring this guy back. Yes, he puts up those numbers, but in addition to that, he is a leader on this team. The younger guys look up to him. He deserves a ring. And I think the Celtics, if they can put together a pretty good offseason, maybe take a guy late in the second round with some experience that can contribute on this team, I think the Celtics will be right back in the NBA Finals next season, and hopefully that's when Al Horford gets his first ring. Before we get into my next step, I want to tell you about Aura, our new sponsor at Chat Sports. They're going to provide financial fraud protection, identity theft protection, online and device security. They're also going to offer family plans that protect up to 5 people. It's going to allow you to work, shop, and bank online more safely and privately. You know, with all these hackers, all these people trying to get in control of your credit card, it's scary, right? Aura is going to protect you. You can start your 14-day free trial at aura.com/chatsports. That link going to be in the comments and the description of this video. Getting into our next step here, that is to add a shooter off the bench. You need a little bit more depth when it comes to shooters. Someone that can come off the bench when Brown and Tatum are not in the game and help those guys out. Here is what the starting 5 look like in these playoffs. Marcus Smart, we'll get into him a little bit later. But Tatum and Brown obviously going to put up big numbers. You need somebody to come off the bench and help those guys out, a sharpshooter. I love Pritchard, right? But you need more in addition to him that can help your star players out. Here are some free agent guards that might make sense for the Celtics. Pat Connaughton from Milwaukee, won a title there, has a title, right? He's got experience. He's been very good in Milwaukee. Victor Oladipo, he had a pretty good season with Miami. A lot of question marks about him coming over from Houston, if he was going to still be a productive player. He was. Malik Monk in L.A. was unbelievable. He was, I think, exceeded everybody's expectations. Donte DiVincenzo, pretty good player as well. He's a restricted free agent, so keep that in mind. And then Lou Dort. Now, what's interesting about Lou Dort is that the Thunder have a decision to make. They can either pick up his option, he becomes an unrestricted free agent next summer if they do that, or they can decline his option and he becomes a restricted free agent now. So any chance that he has of being on the Celtics, they would need the Thunder to decline his option, and then the Celtics would have to outbid OKC. Before we get into my next step, go down and like this video if you're excited about the Celtics offseason. I know that loss last night sucks, but the Celtics, I think, are going to have a pretty productive offseason. Brad Stevens going to figure things out, have the C's right back in this position next year. Go down, give us a like on this video. Getting into my third step here, I would say trade for a point guard. Is Marcus Smart the guy? I like Marcus Smart. I don't know if he's a true ball-dominant point guard. I still want him on this team. I don't know if I want him involved in any trade. But one point guard that you can trade for, who has been linked to the C's, Malcolm Brogden. You absolutely should trade for this guy if the opportunity presents itself. In NBA trade rumors, I've seen Brogdon on there quite a lot in terms of articles that I have seen. And the team that has been linked to him the most have been the Boston Celtics. I absolutely think that Brogdon makes a lot of sense. 19 points per game last season, 5 rebounds per game, nearly 6 assists, and he is a great three-point shooter. That is what the Celtics need. Brogdon could be the missing piece. This could be the difference between finishing as the NBA runner-up next season again or winning the NBA title. That is how good of a player Malcolm Brogden is, and I think he would fit this team really well. This is exactly what the Celtics need to do. Do you want to trade for Malcolm Brogden? Type Y for yes or type in for no down in the comments section. It's the pinned comment on today's video. I want to hear from you when an ad break comes. Go down, let me know what you think. I'm typing my Y for yes. In fact, I am spamming Y down in the comments section. You should too. My number 4 step here, add some depth down low. Some question marks in regards to Al Horford, which you should bring him back. But even if you do bring him back, I think you should go out and maybe get one of these guys. Here are some free agent big men that might make some sense for the C's. Mitchell Robinson from New York, P.J. Tucker. You know, kind of similar to Horford. Tucker keeps getting up there in age, but he's incredibly productive. Had a pretty good season with Miami after winning a title the year prior in Milwaukee. Kevon Looney, who just beat you. You can go out and get him from the Warriors. Mo Bamba, one of the better free agent big men out there. He's been a pleasant surprise. And then DeAndre Ayton. Would that be something? Now, he's a restricted free agent. So if you want to get this guy, a sign and trade might be the way to do it. And Robert Williams might have to be included in that sign-and trade. Here is what Ayton did last season. 17 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, 63.4% from the floor. Now, when you're looking at him as a defender, he's a decent rim protector, but he's not the rim protector that Robert Williams is. Robert Williams averaged over 2 blocks per game. If you can figure out a way to get him, figure it out with money, figure out all the logistics, I think Ayton would be a great player to go out and get. I really like Williams. I mean, obviously one of the big things for the Celtics this offseason is getting Williams fully healthy. Ayton is a little bit of an upgrade. However, I really like the way Williams fits on this team. So let me ask you, though, do you want to sign DeAndre Ayton? Type S for sign or type P for pass down in the comments. It's a tough call for me. I would rather have Brogdon, but if the opportunity to get Ayton presents itself, Brad Stevens might jump at that. So here is my fifth step, my last step in terms of my perfect offseason plan. That is Jayson Tatum. He needs to take the next step. Here is what he did in the 6 games in the NBA Finals. 21.5 points per game. Not great in terms of what Tatum can do. We've seen him do better than that. 7 rebounds per game nearly. Field goal percentage, not very good. And then turnovers per game. That was the big problem for Tatum in these finals, nearly 4 turnovers per game. If Tatum performs, like if Jayson Tatum were to have been Jayson Tatum in these finals, it's a different result. I think the C's would have won the NBA Finals if Tatum would have performed better. Now, keep in mind, he had the shoulder injury in Game 3. The good news is he says that he will not need surgery. So we can, not consider that to be a concern of this offseason. Jayson Tatum is going to be fine for the start of next season. And Tatum can be a superstar in this league for years. Let's not discredit what he did in the playoffs leading up to the finals. Let's not discredit what he did this season. It was his first finals. There was a lot of pressure surrounding him. He's going to be just fine. It was a little bit disappointing, but Tatum's going to be fine. And him and the Celtics will absolutely be back in this position sooner rather than later. You look at the East, you look at how they stack up against other teams in the East. I expect the Celtics to be back in the finals next season. Keep in mind, even after that horrendous start, they still ended up as the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. Appreciate you all watching the show. Really appreciate it as well if you could go down and subscribe, because I'm the new permanent host here at Celtics Today. We're going to have a lot more content for you throughout the entire NBA offseason.